very grim, kind of very angry. And frankly, that doesn't attract people.
There's also an anger, isn't there, though, in the broader left? You think of Luigi Mangione, who's accused of that terrible murder in New York of an insurance boss, and this kind of sense among a lot of people on the left who sort of say, oh, well, he deserved what was coming to him, and all the unpleasant things said about Charlie Kirk when he was assassinated. And indeed, people on the left who don't believe or pretend not to believe that there was a genuine assassination attempt, at least once against Donald Trump. That there's a kind of nastiness there. That how big a risk is it that the left becomes as nasty as much of the right has been in the recent past?
There's a risk, but I think that's the trap that the right is setting. Like, that's what they want. They and frankly, actually, oftentimes they're the ones elevating that content, right? Like Republican politicians and media personalities are quite good at finding kind of the angriest, craziest thing that people are saying on the left and responding to it to make it a conflict. And frankly, that's not a place where the left wins, in my view, because I think you need to do two things. Like, one, you need to attract people. Like I was on the 2008 Obama campaign. Some people may remember. That was a lot of fun. Like, people wanted to be a part of it. They wanted to volunteer. They wanted to knock on doors with their friends. They wanted to be part of a cultural movement that was attractive. But the other thing is you have to be able to do, and Barack Obama, far from perfect, but he did this very well, is you need to persuade, and you don't persuade people by lecturing them. Obama didn't show up and say, you're a racist and you must come out with your hands up and acknowledge it. And acknowledge, white supremacy, and then maybe we can make progress. He would say, this country is so great that we've been able to make progress before. And, here's the whole history of progress throughout America. And join us in this next chapter. He was a patriotic appeal. And look, I've been very critical of America. You followed my commentary on foreign policy. But if you want to bring people along, you have to open a door to come in.
It's such an important point, that, isn't it? Obama gave the impression, I don't know how it really was, but he gave the impression that he really liked ordinary Americans. So even when he gave that speech, that it was greatly lambasted, wasn't he, where he talked about people in small towns hankering after their guns, and people seized on that and said, oh, he doesn't like the small town. Actually, he was able to get past that, wasn't he? Because it did seem as if he liked his fellow Americans, and the risk. And we talk about it quite a lot on the pod now. Among some modern Democrats is that they don't really seem to like people who live in West Virginia or South Dakota or something.
Yeah, it was actually really interesting for this book. I went back and wrote about the race speech he gave in 2008. This is when there were clips of his pastor, Jeremiah Wright, that went viral online.
God damn America, that's in the Bible, for killing innocent people. God damn America, for treating us citizens as less than human. God damn. The United States government has failed the vast majority of her citizens of African descent.
Attacking America, saying it's a racist country. And he did a couple things in there that were really interesting to relive now. The first is he defended Reverend Wright by essentially saying, look, he's a complicated guy. He's done some wonderful things and he said some terrible things.
As imperfect as he may be, he has been like family to me. He strengthens my faith, officiated my wedding, and baptized my children. Not once in my conversations with him have I heard him talk about any ethnic group in derogatory terms, or treat whites with whom he interacted with anything but courtesy and respect. He contained...
And he talked about his white grandmother who raised him. Same thing, this woman who loved me, but she said things that make me cringe.
I can no more disown him than I can disown my white grandmother. A woman who helped raise me, a woman who sacrificed again and again for me, a woman who loves me as much as she loves anything in this world, but a woman who once confessed her fear of black men who passed her by on the street, and who on more than one occasion has uttered racial or ethnic stereotypes that made me cringe. These people are part.
But actually, it was a speech against cancel culture before that was even a thing.
It was an extraordinary speech. I remember seeing it in Philadelphia, I think it was.
In Philadelphia,
wasn't it? Yeah. And just to re-emphasize, so this guy, the Reverend Wright, had really potentially ditched the entire Obama campaign. You must have really, I mean, it was a big moment where Obama made the decision himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
To make this speech. And as you say, to talk about his own family in a way that was just so relatable.
Yeah, and totally related to the point you were just making, because so he makes a decision to give the speech, which really the whole campaign is hanging on, because we were sinking like a stone in the polls. And we prepare a draft, and it comes back, and it's track changes, a few paragraphs in black, and then about 9 pages in red track changes, and then a few paragraphs in black. Like, he stayed up all night writing the speech himself. I don't know why he didn't accept the track changes. I think he wanted to show us, like, look what I did.
The red track changes,
yes.
for anyone who's over a certain age.
Yeah,
you can alter a document and you see
Yes.
the changes.
And the point about, you know, the argument he made is, first of all, you know, I mentioned what he said about his pastor and his grandmother. He's saying, like, it's actually what's missing in our politics now. Like, look around. None of us is perfect. We all have people in our family we disagree with about things. We don't have to just see the worst in people. But then he talked about Black structural inequality in the United States. But then he talked about the white working class. And he said, these are people who aren't particularly privileged by their race.
Most working and middle class white Americans don't feel that they've been particularly privileged by their race. Their experience is the immigrant experience. As far as they're concerned, no one handed them anything. They built it from scratch. They've worked hard all their lives, many times only to see their jobs shipped overseas or their pensions dumped after a lifetime of labor. They are anxious about their futures, and they feel their dreams slipping away. And in an era of stagnant wages and global competition, opportunity comes to be seen as a zero-sum game in which your dreams come at my expense. So when
And he was able, again, to your point about what the left getting into these traps, to say, like, actually, instead of kind of condemning these people, I want to, they're us too. I want to put myself in their shoes and see how things look from their perspective. And I may not even agree with all their views, but we're never going to build a multiracial coalition if we don't take their concerns seriously. The reason he could give a speech like that wasn't just because of his family. It was also because he spent a year just traveling around Iowa, which is an all-white state pretty much, just meeting with people in their living rooms and knocking on their doors and enjoying being with them and kind of modeling that, hey, actually, like, we have a shared identity in this country, whether we're Black or white. Our concerns are pretty similar. And right now, I think we've been in a period where it has suited Trump to have people only see the things that they hate in one another. You know, polarization benefits Trump, and obviously social media makes polarization easier.
Here's a challenge, though. I read that